Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to another week. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about the ongoing transfer rumors. We're going to be talking about the news. We're going to be talking about our renewals. Let me introduce our co-host, Alex.
Hey guys, how are y'all? Very excited to be doing this episode today. Looking forward to it all.
Okay. Let's get started. Sergi Roberto, he renewed. What do you think of that?
I mean, look, he's done a lot for the club. Well, maybe not a lot, but he's done his work for the club. So he's not a player that we should disrespect. But
He in my opinion, he's like a very, I wouldn't say legend, but he is like an important player because he's been here for so many years,
right,
and he's been.
I believe he also came up through La Masia. So
Exactly. He's an academy player.
He's a Barca player. But I mean, listen, he's getting older now, and I don't think that his quality is something that Xavi should be having in his plans, because I can think of so many better players that we can put at right back. So, well, I mean, it's nice that we're keeping him. It's also kind of a burden because we are wasting $5 million on a new contract that we could have.
Well, I think that Sergio Roberto is not like a starter. I don't think that he should be a starter, but he is a very good utility player. And you saw how under Xavi, every single player has improved over these past couple of months. Under Xavi, who knows? We may see like the best of Sergio Roberto, like the engine.
I'll be glad to be proven wrong, but it's just I don't know.
No. Well, what I would like to see is him play the same role that Dani Alves played last season.
Yeah, like come in and play up.
Yeah, exactly. Where
yeah.
like if let's say Jordi Alba is injured, someone in midfield is injured, Dani Alves he can't, or Dest he can't play right back. We have that, and he can just like be there just to it's another body.
Yeah, no, for sure. It gives the squad more depth for sure. It's not ideal in my opinion. I think maybe we'd be better off looking for a better overall player. But it's how you're saying. It's a player that we can play in different positions, and is someone that's hardworking, plays for the team, plays for the badge. So maybe I'm wrong, but.
No, yeah.
I'm having my doubts as to if
of course
option.
What I would like is to say, hey, just let him go, let the contract run out, we don't renew him. But then again, he is a very good utility player, and we mentioned this before. He can play multiple positions, and on top of that, he is a player who was on big wages. I believe he was earning 12 million euros per season. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at other players, such as, like, for example, Mane or Lewandowski. Those players are like earning similar figures, and for Sergio Roberto to have that sort of wage,
and I think that's part of the financial problems we were having.
Exactly.
We were making these exaggerated and even dumb decisions financially, like giving someone like Sergi Roberto 12 million euros.
Well, remember,
I'd say half would have been fair.
Yeah, exactly. But you can't like fault the players because Bartomeu is the one who gave out those contracts.
No. Of course, I'm not faulting the player at all.
Of course, if someone offers you, of course, if someone offers you that much money in the contract, you'll definitely take it. But I have mixed feelings with the Sergio Roberto renewal. I'm happy that we have another body. He's a good utility player. We can use him for this. Like last year, he only has a 1-year contract. If in this next year Xavi isn't convinced by him, hey, we just let him go next year. So I'm not in favor of it. I'm not against it. So it's okay.
We just gotta it's not the worst of cases. We just gotta see how it goes.
Yeah. Another player who is being rumored to Barcelona is Angel Di Maria after his amazing performance in Finalissima, where Argentina won 3-0. Di Maria was very impressive, and since his contract with PSG ran out, he's currently a free agent. Would you sign Angel Di Maria?
Absolutely. He's a player that I've seen in many rival teams such as Manchester United, Real Madrid.
He even played in Real Madrid.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, he's always been a player that's been criminally underrated.
Yeah, he's been world class,
insanely skilled, and he shows it every time he plays with PSG and with Argentina especially. I've seen him. He did score the one goal against Brazil.
In the Copa America final.
Exactly. So I think there are better options than him. but we gotta be realistic, and I think Di Maria will be a great player to have in the squad, maybe for a couple of years, as he is getting a little older.
Yeah, he's 34 right now, and looking at the other options, for example, Rafinha, who they're asking 70 million. Leeds are asking 70 million. That's completely where we can get Angel Di Maria for free, but hey, maybe on a little bit higher wages. But now, as like a rule, Laporta is implementing that no player, no matter who you are, you're not earning more than 10 mil. So Barcelona is now having a wage structure, because before you would have players, Sergi Roberto, Umtiti, Dembele, all these players earning extraordinary amounts of money, and having some order and control is fantastic. So a player like Di Maria, who's, let's say, Dembele, who's now rumored to leave, Di Maria can just come in, fill that role, and then, for example, maybe next season, who knows, maybe another winger can pop up. Gnabry, whose contract with Bayern is I believe ends next year.
Yeah, that's correct.
We can go for Gnabry, or let's say another winger that pops up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think our main problem right now is wingers. I do love that we are getting Di Maria, because we are likely to lose.
I mean, we currently do have a lack of wingers at the club. For example, we only have Ferran Torres, Ansu Fati, and Dembele. But Adama Traore and Dembele are currently leaving. Those are two wingers.
We could always utilize Memphis Depay as a winger and shift to a striker.
Yeah, but Memphis Depay, he doesn't really convince me as a winger. He does play well in that position, but
I think he plays better as a center forward.
Yeah, as like that second striker you see in the Netherlands and in Lyon, where he gives me like sort of Griezmann vibes, where you have a number 9 and he can just like play behind and just
it's a center forward, kind of like a false 9.
Yeah, exactly, in that position. The player that I would definitely want to stay is Dembele, but who knows what's
he's had a terrific renaissance under Xavi this season. I mean, we're talking about a player who was barely getting 10 games in a season past few seasons. So
we paid an extraordinary amount of money for him as well.
But I think this season it paid off. We analyze games like the Real Madrid game, and games such as, I believe, in the Atletico Madrid game he also played well. So we analyze games like that where he's playing against big teams and he's still performing well. So I believe we share the same sentiment here, but I think he's a player that we most definitely keep. He's someone that's vital to our attack, especially now that we might get Lewandowski. It would be someone good to feed him balls and to get headers. So, ideally we wouldn't be losing.
No, but imagine Lewandowski being fed by the balls that Angel Di Maria can like serve on the play, because Di Maria is like playing. Right now he's not really that much of a winger. Right now he is a winger, but he likes to come inside sometimes.
Yeah, he likes cutting in.
Yeah, he likes cutting in.
Creating play.
Yeah, but he has tremendous ability, and you saw in the games that he plays for Argentina, or in the games that he plays PSG. The last season he played amazing. He was a very interesting player, and I would love to see him in Barcelona. I would say, hey, go for it. Go for Angel Di Maria.
No, for sure. I think it's a great option. I think we have to take advantage of the situation.
Top of
it's one of those things that we just gotta wait and see, because the same way we want him, I'm sure many other clubs are interested in him, and he's just a world-class player.
Yeah, he
has been for a long time.
He is 34, so we're gonna have to obviously plan for that. But
exactly.
Hey, he could be like a shortstop right now.
For sure.
And on top of that, since we have like a young core, we have Ansu Fati, Gavi, Pedri, Nico, Araujo, Frankie de Jong. We have all these young players that are making up the core of the team, that having some experience up top and having experience in other areas of the field is very useful. Moving on from Angel Di Maria, who we both agree that we would like to see in Barcelona, is Gavi. Gavi currently we're negotiating. Barcelona is offering a 2 mil contract. Gavi's holding out for a 4 mil contract. I would personally just say take the contract. We have to remember that Gavi, he's only 17.
Yeah.
This was his first season at the very top flight, and he's starting for Barcelona and Spain. You saw how amazing that he was playing for Spain in these last couple days with the Nation League. Exactly, yeah. He's the youngest ever to score for the Spanish national team, taking the record away from Ansu Fati, and that just speaks of his quality.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that if we're gonna be making smart financial decisions, this would fall in that category. Giving him 4 million, it's only 2 more million, and we're keeping a player of that quality.
No, and we also have to remember he's 17.
Mm-hmm.
He's 17. Well, that's a lot of money for a 17-year-old who, let's say, who knows, maybe in the next 2 years.
Well, I understand the concern with giving him a contract, but we also gotta consider that, like you said, we have a young squad, and some of these young players are gonna be under watch by other clubs. So, God forbid the negotiations go south. I'm sure another club can offer him that. So
No. Yeah. On top of that, Liverpool. Gavi's release clause currently is 50 mil, but it's been moved to 100 mil. Liverpool was interested in just paying that release clause and taking Gavi, but Gavi said no. I'm my only wish is to stay at Barcelona,
right?
And I believe that. Gavi is you see the way he plays. He plays with such intensity. You see
he plays for the badge.
Yeah, he plays for the badge. He's a play. I wish more players in our team showed that kind of intensity when they play.
Yeah, I mean it's what happens when you grow up in the academy.
Yeah.
It's a team you love. It's a team you've been playing for so many years.
Yeah, exactly. But I after the Sergi Roberto renewal, there were some questions like, hey, why are you renewing this player, not renewing Gavi?
Mm-hmm.
But once again, I believe these are two different things. Taking away renewing Sergi Roberto means that, hey, now he's on significantly less wages. I believe he earns less than half of what he did before.
Yeah.
And that frees up the wage bill just a little bit, and we have space for Gavi.
Right, and look, I understand how we might be concerned with the whole Gavi situation. I believe he'll sign in the coming days. It's just been a matter of negotiating.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of these things go slow, and I don't think it should be a big worry. I would just give him the contract, though. It's a player. He's not asking for a crazy amount.
The 4 mil?
I would give him the 4 mil.
You would give him the 4 mil. No. See, but we did that mistake before. How you were just like, hey, we were just giving players whatever they wanted, and that led us in a terrible position. And once again, I would say, hey, you're 17. In 2 or 3 years, when you're going to be 20. Hey, we can renegotiate. We can earn maybe double or even triple what you earn now.
Yeah,
depending. He's still like super young.
No, and that's entirely reasonable. But I just don't know. I mean, I understand 2 million isn't little money.
Yeah, of course.
Neither of us have that money right now.
Well, we're comparing it to like in the world of football.
But I don't think it's significant enough for me to say, yeah, you're just giving away a contract. It's a great player.
Yeah.
Insanely talented. I think just give it to him. But I would understand why we would just say to just take it. At the end of the day, I think there needs to be a good strategy set by Xavi and by Laporta.
Yeah, Laporta is bringing some order into the wage structure.
So, just maybe 3 million. Maybe you don't have to give him 4. Maybe you can settle on 3.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's being negotiated right now.
So, I mean, honestly, I would say either way, just sign him.
Yeah.
Sign him by all means necessary.
Exactly.
Get that new contract.
Yeah, get that new contract. Get them all signed. Another player who is being rumored, who's looking more and more likely to leave, who we think has absolutely no chance of staying, is Dembele. Currently, Barcelona have given him a contract saying, hey, this is our final contract. If you don't accept this, then oh well. And Dembele's agent is like, hey, we're not going to accept this. If you don't give us a better offer, then we're going to leave. And the front runner apparently is now Chelsea.
Yeah, and this is upsetting, as we were mentioning before. He has been having a really good season. Yeah. But look, I have an issue with Dembele at the same time, and we've mentioned it in previous episodes. What I don't like about him is his lack of commitment. He's a mercenary. All he cares about is making money. And I understand as a professional.
He has shown some professionalism over these past a couple months.
Yeah,
but exactly. But still,
But see, I don't think it's professional to say you want to stay at the club, but then be demanding such high wages and threatening to leave. Like that's just not.
And on top of that, just like thinking, hey, look at how much faith this club has had over the years where you've been constantly injured.
We've been the only team that were saying how much quality he has.
Exactly, and the fans are still supporting him after so many years of just like of bad results.
Had this been somewhere else, he would have gotten booed.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't.
No, he even got booed at the start of the season when he came back from injury in the Camp Nou. Remember?
Right. Yeah, but I mean, not to the extent I'm saying. To the extent I'm thinking, just every time you're on the ball, getting.
Yeah, booed. Exactly.
But that's my issue with Dembele. He's a player who's very wishy-washy, as they say. He's not very upfront about the way he feels. If he wants to leave, I think he should leave. As good of a player as he is, we could use the money. But if
we're actually like not getting any like a transfer fee.
That's true. Yeah,
but we are getting rid of those massive wages.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
that he's on.
I didn't mean it in the get the right money for it, but we will be freeing up a lot of space.
Yeah, and on top of that, we can bring in another player.
Right, but I just don't know. Like, that's my issue. That's my issue with Dembele. If he wants to stay. But don't be demanding so much. And that's the other thing. He hasn't been a world-class player, or he hasn't been good in a while. Even when he wasn't injured, he was playing poorly. So
he was very inconsistent. He had those like extremely bright moments, but then he also had those moments where every touch was.
He has every single skill set to be the best winger.
Exactly.
In the world. He can shoot. Well, his shooting's not that good, but he can pass. Yeah. His sprinting,
he's ambidextrous.
His dribbling, very well, a very good 2-footed player. So, he's got an extremely good arsenal of a skill set to use against any team in the world.
And he finished last season as the top assist, I believe.
Exactly, and he came in. I believe he started playing well like halfway through the season.
Yeah, he played halfway through the season.
So that just shows what a good player he's been. Now, do I want him to stay? Of course. Who wouldn't want Dembele in his team given the
but right now, honestly, I would just say, hey, cut our losses. Just let him leave.
If you want to leave, if it's been such a struggle for you to sign a contract, just leave.
Yeah, just leave.
We don't need that kind of attitude. And I know Xavi doesn't need that kind of attitude.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need this at the club. I would say, hey, just cut our losses. One of our worst signings ever, and let's just move on.
Yeah, and, that wouldn't be ideal, but if things keep dragging out like this, I think it's better, and it's one less worry we have. So from there, I think ideally we move on to Di Maria, or I think we get him regardless. So I don't think it's that big, but I will go straight to Di Maria in that case.
Yeah, but moving on to a player who we want to leave, and moving on to a player that we do not want to leave, is Frenkie de Jong. He's Manchester United officially put in their first offer for Frenkie de Jong. It was 60 mil plus 10 million variables up front. And Barcelona rejected that first offer.
Well, I mean, this has been a difficult topic for me to look at, because I'm personally a big fan of Frenkie de Jong, and I love the way he plays. I love what a talented player he is, and I think he's someone that has played for the badge. I don't know if recently that's been the same attitude, but this past few years, regardless of all the mistakes and all the disappointment, he has played and given his all to the team. So, it's a player who I admire greatly, but it's also someone I wouldn't want to leave.
Yeah, of course. He's a player who I wouldn't want to leave. But hey, if the right offer comes, I'm open to selling.
I think anywhere in the 80s.
I don't even think 80s. You're seeing the Tchouaméni to Real Madrid. You're seeing Nunez. You're seeing Haaland. All these players going for what 80, 90 million. I think for Frenkie de Jong, a player of his quality, 100 mil minimum. I think anything lower than that, we do not take. For example, Tchouaméni, 80 million plus 20 million in variables. Harry Maguire, 80 million. Declan Rice, 150.
Yeah, no, and that's the issue. As great as British football is, that's the issue with them. The British players, they're overpriced, and we can see this with Declan Rice. I think they're very very similar players, Declan Rice and Frenkie de Jong. And by looking at that, we can see that that the English tax exists. In my opinion, De Jong is as good a player as Declan Rice on his day.
Yeah.
The issue is that Declan Rice has been very consistent these past 2 seasons, and De Jong has had his moments of inconsistency.
Well, he has been great. Just when you think about it, Barcelona hasn't been in the best situation. Barcelona has gone through rough patches.
No, I understand, but especially this season, De Jong had his moments where he wasn't playing well, even when the whole team was. Yeah,
and especially last season where he was great under Koeman for patches, but it was once again inconsistent.
Yeah, but Frenkie de Jong is a player that we need. To me, he's always been the replacement for Busquets once he retires or leaves the club, because they're different in the sense that
but see, Frenkie de Jong has played in that pivot role, but he once again he hasn't felt comfortable in that position at Barcelona.
Right, he's more of a box-to-box,
because in Ajax he played as that double pivot. So, for example, if Kessie comes in, would having Frenkie de Jong and Kessie in that both pivot role be much suited because you see how the way he plays in the Netherlands, how the way he played in Ajax.
Yeah, but
and on top of that, we're actually replacing Busquets because we can't replace Busquets. As much as like we try to, Busquets is unique in the world of football. Busquets has revolutionized that number 6 position, and how do we replace him? We replace him instead of one player with 2. For example, with Frankie de Jong and Kessie.
Yeah, but what I was trying to say is I think they're very different, De Jong and Busquets, in the sense that De Jong, how you were saying, is more of a box-to-box player, someone who can move along the defensive end and move on even into the attack. We've seen him at moments that he can carry the attack well and make a good pass. But
he can also chip in with some very important goals.
Exactly, when needed. And that's the thing. Busquets is more of an orchestrator. He gets the ball, likes making a long pass, likes making simple passes, can play excellent under pressure, as can De Jong. But what you said is interesting, because with Chiesa and De Jong, I just don't know how that midfield will fit, because then you're only... We were always going to play 4-3-3. That's Xavi's preferred style, and...
Yeah, well, for example,
changing. But if we play 4-3-3, we're putting Chiesa at CDM, ideally, and then where are we putting De Jong? CM?
No, I would say vice versa. I would say technically Frankie de Jong is much more better than Kessie, and he'll be able to play in that CDM position. But once again, we've seen this season Frankie has had lone CDM and it hasn't worked out.
Yeah, so, but that's why I'm thinking maybe try Chiesa there, and then you just have Pedro alongside. But then it comes the question: you're taking away playtime from people like Gavi.
Yeah, exactly.
So honestly.
Well, I mean, we can always rotate.
But that's what I'm saying. If Frankie de Jong leaves, it's gonna be hard to replace him.
And speaking on who's gonna replace him, Barcelona is saying, hey, if Frankie de Jong leaves and we get that big fee, the player that we're going to target is Bernardo Silva and Gundogan.
Wow. I mean, if we have the money to pay those two, we are in good hands. Listen, I'm a huge fan of Bernardo Silva as well. Yeah. I watch him play with Manchester City all the time.
He's fantastic. He's a terrific player.
You don't see him lose the ball in close situations. No, always making the smart pass. Can finish like we saw in the first leg of the UCL semifinals against Madrid.
Yeah.
That rocket that he shot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what an amazing player.
And Gundogan also, a player that's been incredibly underrated for a long time, even when he was at Dortmund as well. A player that didn't get the respect that he deserved. So, and you see him at City, also a very simple player, makes the right passes, knows how to cross the ball, can shoot, can play make. I think we need players like this, players that are proven, that are veteran. Yeah. And the other fact worth mentioning is that they play under Guardiola, so the shift in tactics wouldn't be that big. I mean, Guardiola does things a little differently, but it's a similar tiki-taka style to Barcelona.
Yeah, exactly. So the transition will be very smooth. And I agree. If De Jong leaves Manchester United, would you be opposed to having Bernardo Silva come and replace him? I wouldn't be.
No, I don't think any Barca fan should be, regardless of of how big of a fan you are of De Jong. Listen, I love him too, but if he wants to leave and if we get the right price, preferably in the 90s, because I don't know if I would put him on 100, because then we fall into the argument, people like Haaland didn't cost 100.
Well, I mean, it's because like his release cost was like set at 75 million. If not, you saw how Dortmund was asking for 200 million.
Right.
For like the summer before his release clause. I mean, I was like, that was crazy.
Yeah, but listen, if we get around 90 million, we're in good hands, because I don't think, Bernardo Silva and Gundogan, I don't think they'd be that expensive, especially since they're not British. Since they're not English, we wouldn't get that English tax. As if it was instead of it was someone like Phil Foden. Yeah, for that we're paying over 150 million.
150 million for
But
Foden.
for Bernardo Silva and Gundogan, we can definitely pay one of them without any need for additional money, and maybe both of them.
Yeah.
But I'd be definitely in favor of that. If we can get him, go for it.
Yeah, a player that I really love. But now moving away from the midfield, we move on to attack. A big player that I would say we desperately need, Lewandowski.
Correct, yeah.
Bayern are currently asking for 50 mil up front. And that still is currently depending on how the situation goes with Sadio Mane heading over to Bayern and David Nunez moving from Benfica to Liverpool.
Yeah, and wow, what a player.
Yeah, but I mean, Lewandowski.
We have said it over and over. One of the greatest strikers of his generation and one of the best strikers in the world currently.
Yeah, But Barcelona, I don't think that Barcelona is going to pay 50 mil for Lewandowski.
I mean, I think we should though. I mean. Listen,
well,
it's
hey,
not ideal.
No.
If that's the money we gotta pay, I think we gotta pay it.
No, well, when you think about it, hey, he has 1 year left in his contract. Next summer, he's going to be for free. He's turning 34 now in August. So 50 mil for a 34-year-old striker whose contract is about to end next summer. Why not just wait that year and just get him for free? So this is why I'm saying, hey, if we're going to pay now for Lewandowski, I'd say we pay 35, 40 million. Anything higher than that, say, hey, Bayern, come on, you're paying 35 million for Mane. No, on the top of that, no. Excuse me. They put an offer for 25 million for Mane. And Liverpool rejected that, but say, hey, maybe just give us a little bit better offer. They were willing to come to the negotiation table. Bayern Munich have not come to the negotiation table with Barcelona.
Well, that's because it's a matter of pride. You know, losing one of your best players, if not your best player, to a team you beat a few years ago badly. I mean, I also think it's a matter of him being considered like a captain there, being such an important
exactly.
figure.
But now that Lewandowski has spent so much of his time there, he's not looking for a new challenge.
Yeah, no, and you gotta respect his wishes. He's been respectful about it. He's been very direct with the fans, saying, I'm very happy for my time here, but I think it's time for me to move on. And that's something that I would respect. If a player like, say, Frankie De Jong says something like that, I would understand it. It wouldn't upset me. So I think I agree with you. Bayern have to be a bit more reasonable in this situation and say, hey, listen, if he wants to leave, he wants to leave. Let's see what we can do about it, though. Because keeping him against his will, that's just bad negotiation.
Yeah, no. On top of that, it's bad faith. Like, not only are you keeping a player against his will, who knows that maybe under those circumstances he's going to perform as well as, let's say, if he was happy. Mm-hmm. So, and on top of that, Nunez goes to Liverpool, Mane goes to Bayern, and then Lewandowski goes to Barca. But that's how the situation is going.
I think it's a fair trade, though. Like, I mean, Liverpool's getting a player for Mane, and Bayern will be getting a player for Lewandowski.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's perfectly fair.
Yeah, perfectly fair. And on top of what a player that Liverpool are getting in David Nunez, young Uruguayan striker who's been fantastic this season. We need to compete with these transfers, with these teams. We can't be lacking behind. So Lewandowski, we'll see how that goes. But we have a very exciting summer, and news are already starting to ramp up.
Listen, I agree, but Lewandowski is someone we need to get now. We don't have a striker, and it's going to cost us.
We do have Aubameyang, and he has been great this season, but we need more depth in that area.
And we need better players. I mean, Aubameyang is someone who everyone considered finished until this season. And yes, he's proving a lot of people wrong, including myself, who was opposed to us getting him. But I just don't know. I don't think Aubameyang is the solution. I mean, I think he's a short-term solution, and he has been. But we need more long-term stuff, such as Lewandowski, who, although he's still old, he's still class, and he's with the team we have, we could equally, like I said at the beginning, just keep feeding him balls from Dembele or our midfield, Gavi, Pedri. Mm-hmm. So I would love for it to go through, but before that, I would like that Bayern be a bit more flexible and a bit more open-minded to the offers and to the possible solutions. So it's just a matter of time, and we gotta see this through. We gotta keep hopeful spirits and just see what happens. At the end of the day, it's neither of us' decision, and there's a lot more to it than we can possibly imagine. We just gotta hope it gets done and we get this player that we've valued for so long.
Yeah, definitely. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with some of our thoughts regarding the multiple topics that we discussed? Sergi Roberto's renewal, what do you think about that? Should we bring in Di Maria? Should we let De Jong go? Should we say no? Should we bring in Lewandowski? Please comment, like, subscribe, all that. Please let us know.